Welcome to the Headass PAAGcast, where we talk about pogs, and pretty much everything. Yeah,
including taiko drums, glasses cases, orca
and
whales,
bungaloids, all that.
bungaloids,
That's
Motorola
for later times.
walkie-talkies,
Chemdraw 19.1,
Hong Kong 97s.
Tiananmen Square.
That
Didn't
didn't
happen. Whatever that is.
Anyway, let's get down to the real business, which is I buy power PCs.
Are we sponsored?
No.
No.
Well,
And because of that, we're going to talk about cyber power PCs instead.
what about Manscaped?
Are we
Actually,
sponsored?
We're sponsored by Raycon. No, we're not.
Yeah, so we're not talking about any of them. Anyway, let's start off with something that everyone can agree on, I think. And that is, what do you mean? Let me.
That it sounds like it's going to be divisive action.
It's not, because it involves money.
But everyone's broke.
Exactly. Everyone can agree that they want to spend money, right?
Spend money or make money?
Spend money. People don't care about making money; they care about spending it.
That's the have-nots of society.
Exactly,
Spenders.
and the have-nots.
Not the
There are
gainers.
more have-nots than haves.
Yeah, and it's a growing gap too.
It'd be even better if you were to spend someone else's money, right?
It's called the OnlyFans.
That's still making, well, no comment. Anyway, what if people could vote, kind of like how a blockchain operates, where you have multiple people putting in money to act as a security, but they can vote on how that specific blockchain will, I'm going to say work, because there's a lot of technicalities there, but in this instance, instead of it being a blockchain like in the example I was talking about, it would be a billionaire. So you give money to a billionaire. Actually, no, you don't even have to give money to a billionaire. They just have the money already. But the people vote on how their excess money is used. So, for example, people could vote for a pothole in their city to be paid for by a portion of that billionaire's money that is part of the program. Or they could spend it on something a little bit more worldly. And that is to say, they spend it on something that's not that important, but people still want to know what it is. And by what that thing is, I mean something like, let's see, I have a list here. What is a Roswell human? What is a DMT being? Is Paul McCartney actually dead?
Yeah.
These things could be funded through these billionaires and voted on what to investigate. So let's say people vote to find out if the earth actually is flat. There's going to be this huge investigation to find out if it's actually flat. And then there you go. There's going to be a solid conclusion. And you'll have people either saying that it's not flat or flat based on this monumental investigation funded by the billionaires.
So What I'm hearing is, wait, the billionaires don't have a say in what they do with their excess money.
No.
So they don't have control of their own money.
They don't have control of a portion of their money.
Is that fair?
I mean, is it fair to the people that don't have money?
Isn't that called being a shareholder?
Yes and no. Because
Like an executive board, you get to make decisions since you own a portion of that company.
yes. Yeah, actually, yes.
Like an
Exactly like that.
If you're an owner, you're gonna hire executives to find out how to manage your company. You don't manage your own company. You got people to do it for you.
Yes, it's exactly like that, but in this a program, I'm gonna call it, the billionaires aren't gonna have a control, because you see, eventually there's gonna be a threshold. After they make a certain amount of money, that money goes into a fund that is used to, well, fund these investigations.
It sounds like a recipe for a bureaucracy. Like
No, it's not a bureaucracy. See, because it's not gonna, that money's not gonna be funding bureaucratic decisions. It's not gonna be making any political decisions either. I guess there's a lot of overlap there with bureaucratic and political decisions, but it's not gonna make any of those decisions anyway. The only decision that it's gonna be making is spending that money on things like finding out if Ningans exist.
So
if dolphins are actually gray aliens.
So you want a program where billionaires spend their money to look into conspiracy theories?
You know, conspiracy was a term coined by the government.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yet to be confirmed ideals.
Yet to be confirmed possibilities.
Possible scenarios.
Yes, because don't you want to know?
But don't you think the billionaires are the people that want to keep these a secret?
That's why the threshold exists. Once that money, once a billionaire makes a certain amount of money, they lose control of that money.
That sounds like socialism,
at least. Well, it's for a good cause.
Like I said, socialist. Communist.
People always put a bad light on socialism, man. Don't you want to know if The Simpsons is real footage? If meth can actually make you immortal?
That's
I know firsthand that is true. That is not a conspiracy theory. That has been a proven law.
You see, but people don't know that. That money will be used to fund that.
But these will be suppressed.
Like, I'm not okay. Ideally, if socialism did work, I would like socialism, because I just feel like the fact that people work so hard to get money instead of I work because I want to work in a job that I want to work at. Like, obviously, yeah, you need money, but people work to get money rather than working because they like a specific job. Like, people become doctors so they can make money, not because they want to save lives and stuff like that.
Dang.
So ideally, if socialism did work, I feel like, you know, the world would be a lot less of a crappy place, because, people want to be all greedy and like, oh, I want to be like super successful and that's my goal in life. Like if that's your goal in life, dude, you're doing it wrong. Like I don't know what kind of crappy life you came from to the point where you need to show everybody how much money you have, but nobody cares. Like literally it does not impact me. So why am I worried about what you're doing? Like you should be focusing on keeping your mental health like uh as high as it could possibly be. You should be worrying about your own happiness. Like I don't know why you're worried about, oh, I want everybody to recognize I am successful. Like that, I don't know who back in the day was like, yeah, that's something that I want for myself, and that's something that I'm gonna integrate into normal society because that's just something that like it just creates greed and it creates billionaires who don't do anything with a lot of their money, and then there's just a bunch of people who are on the streets like for God knows what reason.
You don't think people deserve to flex from their hard work?
They can flex, but they can also flex making the world a better place.
On God, like if you're flexing just for the sake of flexing, like why? Like you have all of this money for what reason? Like when you're rich, it's easier to get richer. It's not you don't as long as you do like the right stuff with your money, it's easier to get rich. It's not easy to go from a normal person to a rich person. If you're lucky enough in certain cases, that's the case. That's what's going to happen. Or if you just like, you come up with something or you work hard enough, then you can become rich. But a lot of people like in this day and age, we already have Facebook, Twitter, all this like extra stuff. Like if none of that existed and then like somebody came up with Facebook, of course they're going to become rich. Of course we're going to have all these different breakthroughs that are going to allow these people to become rich. But once everything is like so like diluted with we already have so much, like you can't go much farther. So these people are staying richer because they're just putting their money in the right places, and they became rich off of something like off of, in my opinion, pure luck. Like if you have the right plugins, you will become rich. Like that's just what's going to happen with your life. Like you could be the hardest grinder and never become rich just because you're just not in the right position. But if people who have that money could help those people get into the right position, then guess what? They have that opportunity. Life is just all about opportunities, and if people are robbed of an opportunity, then they don't have the same chance as somebody else.
If you look at all the YouTubers, all those like ads, they're saying, "Oh, join my master class." Listen, don't listen to anyone else on YouTube. All right, these are people that trying to scam you. Listen, I'm gonna tell you simple for free. If you buy my ebook if you get my ebook for free and join my master session, you'll get all the information you need to be a millionaire. But what they don't tell you is how they became millionaires. Every time you listen to a millionaire or billionaire come up story, they always had a mentor. They always had a connection that brought them to a higher level. A lot of people follow this advice. While yes, some of it is good advice to build capital and financial gain, they don't have the necessary financial or business connections to elevate them to the next level to make them richer. Now you can get to that level. Well, you can get to a high level, grinding yourself, but not to that level that a lot of these people have without connections or hookups based off of luck or just being around the right people in the right environment. And that's why I like to advocate for people, young people specifically, to instead of try to get money by themselves. I think it'll be a lot of more beneficial if people can come together and think of an idea, think of a way. A couple of young venture capitalists or investors, or not even investors. It could be just young people looking to innovate on something or create an idea. I think there needs to be a lot more communication within this generation. And I think that's the way people can make money. If we can just all come together and make bread together, because it's getting, I don't want to say it's getting harder to become a millionaire, but it's definitely achievable. But the wealth gap keeps growing and growing, and the haves are getting fewer and richer, and the have-nots are getting bigger and poor. So I think this generation needs to figure out a solution, because the boomers, they're not gonna help. They already got their wealth, and they're eventually gonna kick the door. So we're left by ourselves, and we're trying to figure out a solution. And if you want to call it quote unquote late stage capitalism, where capitalism has gone off the rails in a few facets of society, and has created a lot of problems such as poverty and homelessness and unfairness in the economy in some areas. And that's why you hear this talk of a lot of socialism and a lot of social policies. While I do think a society does need social policies that you can call socialism for it to be fair and to run, I don't think socialism is a solution to the problem that we have. Because if we can see on paper, of course, socialism sounds great, but it never works out, because government is going to be inherently corrupt, and it's going to get corrupted eventually. It's going to get bloated, and it's going to create the same problem over and over again. So I think we need to find a new not a middle ground, but a new ground. We need to find a solution that has not been done, and what do you call it? Financial or political theory, something that hasn't been done yet or experimented on.
That's why it's called late stage capitalism, because we're in the late stage. We're supposed to move on now. People that want to stay capitalists don't realize that we've been overdue for a change, especially now more than ever. Just look at the job market. All these jobs are being taken up by robots, and everyone's complaining about it. Everyone wants to make new jobs, but what's the point? Because eventually robots are going to take over every job, not just the common labor jobs. They're going to take over every job. And that sounds like a big statement to make, like, no, they're not going to take over every job. Yes, they're going to take over every job eventually. It's only a matter of time. So that's why we do need to move in a socialist direction. And I'm not really much of a socialist advocate in the large sense, but I am an advocate for universal basic income. That's why I'm not gonna say that I was for this political candidate, because I don't want to make this too political. I just want to get my point across that
they already know.
On. Yeah, they know already if they're listening. But I just want to get my point across that this is the next step. It's called late stage capitalism for a reason, because we are in the late stage. We need to move on. We need to accelerate. We need to keep up with the times. And the only way to do that is to prepare before that time even comes. And that's what's wrong with, I'm not going to say that's what's wrong with society right now. It's just people are too stuck in the past. They see socialism's past attempts, and they're like, oh, well, we can't do that again. We see how that worked out. Or they look to capitalism and they're like, oh, well, it's worked so far, right? Well, yeah, but eventually you got to move on.
The thing is, I don't think socialism is the solution. I don't think capitalism or socialism is the solution to the current problem we have, because yes, we see the issues of socialism in the past, and we see those usually happen in a dictatorial country, or a country that's been plagued with a lot of corruption and is a poor country. You see, with a country like America, the wealthiest country, and this population size, the socialism of the past that we're talking about is just different. It's going to be different for America, especially for the direction we're going. Now, I say capitalism is probably the best system we've had, and capitalism, we have capitalism to thank for a lot of the things we have and a lot of the technological advances we have, but we've come to the point where no system is perfect, and we need to like we said, we have to find a solution. But I don't think socialism is the correct way to go. I don't think socialism will work, but I think we do need some aspects of socialism, like certain social policies. But I also think that I would be an advocate for. I was an advocate for universal basic income, but I've been thinking the way the U.S. dollar is looking, and personally, I believe the U.S. dollar is going to crash, and that's when the digital revolution is going to come. I feel like that's very soon around the corner. A lot of countries, such as the EU, Russia, China, has been moving away from the dollar. The dollar has been becoming less valued around the world and less stable. And currently our economy is being artificially boosted off of fake money, and the debt clock is keep going up. So I think socialism would cause hyperinflation, basically, in the U.S. So I think we need to find a solution suited for the times coming. Like, since everything is going to be, a lot of jobs are going to be taken by robots and automated systems, and we're moving to an age of digital, where digital is king. I think we need to move to a system more akin to it's hard to define. You'd have to get a lot into economics, but it would the best way I can describe it is a blend of capitalism and free market and socialism.
Of course, because you can't just have one system. That's not really what I was trying to get at earlier. Not just socialism, not just because you can't really be a reductionist about it. You can't just say one system. You have to have multiple, especially now. You have to have these multiple elements. But eventually, universal basic income is gonna have to be the standard. Like, there's just no way around it. Because what jobs are there gonna be? I mean, society could just move into like the freaking, what's that one website called where you like you do anything for money, basically. The one that Big Man Tyrone is on, Fiverr. It could move to that where people just do odd jobs like that because there's no other jobs to do. That's actually a really interesting idea for society, at least. But like I'm saying, universal basic income is gonna have to be the standard eventually.
But like I said, how will we deal with the solution of hyperinflation or inflation in general?
I'm not talking just in terms of the United States. I'm talking on the global scale.
But in global scale, different countries have different economical situations.
Well, of course, but I'm saying eventually, it's going to take time to get there, but eventually it's going to get to the point where there's no job a human can do that a robot can't do. You know, I'm not just talking as actual physical robots. I'm talking deep learning AI,
I mean, like
physical robots.
even if it was just like on a United States like basis, I feel like, you know, hyperinflation technically wouldn't be an issue because if there's just universal basic what do you call it? Universal
Income, it would
basic
scale.
income. The people who are like extremely rich, where is their money? Like, where is the government getting enough money to start paying all of these people a universal basic income? They're probably gonna have to get it from like extremely rich people, and these extremely rich people who are spending their money on God knows what. You know, you don't have a lot of these richer people spending their money and putting their money into the economy as much. So there's people who are probably, you know, who wouldn't be spending their money right now. They'd be spending their money on, you know, basic things like food and clothing, which honestly, if if they're just putting their money there, I don't think that would cause any kind of hyperinflation. Um, I just feel like, you know, there's just a lot of money that isn't being used. There's a lot of money that is being used. If there's just money that's being put towards, you know, having or allowing people to, you know, even live basically, that wouldn't cause like a form of hyperinflation.
See, but a lot of rich and wealthy people right now aren't involved. Well, actually, a good majority of them are involved in the economy, but a lot of them aren't because they know the economy, you know, could become unstable any moment. So a lot of rich people are, because the government has tried to create a solution to take away a lot of the excess wealth that the wealthy have, such as the progressive tax plan that was passed, and you know, a lot of wealthy people in some states are taxed 50 to 60% of their wealth, which it kind of de-incentivizes becoming wealthy. But a lot of wealthy people also find a loophole, such as investing in non-profit organizations and stuff like that, so in tax-free organizations, so they can save their wealth. A lot of the wealth that the wealthy have now, I do say that the wealthy does have every right to keep their money that they've worked for, but then again, I can't really blame. We shouldn't really punish rich people because for the government, what the government should have done, and because there's a lot of poverty, homeless people, a lot of people without jobs. I put that blame on the government, but I think the wealthy have to participate with redistributing. Oh man, I hate that word, redistributing wealth, because in some ways, redistributing wealth kind of it de-incentivizes a lot of things, but
De-incentivizes what?
well, it first of all,
Just the top three issue or the top three things that it would de-incentivize.
it would de-incentivize owning a business. de-incentivize becoming wealthy, de-incentivize even working in some areas.
Well, being wealthy, that's kind of like a first world thing. Well, not it's not really a first world thing, but it's kind of just it's more of a modern thing. Well, I mean, people always want to be wealthy. They just want to have things. But it's not you don't need to have a lot to live a happy life.
So you don't think people should have access wealth?
Oh, I mean, if they want to, but it shouldn't be necessary. It shouldn't be encouraged. If you don't have to, then why?
That's exactly the point that I'm getting at. Like, if there's no, you know, if it's not necessary to be wealthy, why be wealthy? Like, people are being like becoming rich just for the sake of being rich. They're becoming rich just for the sake of having money. In a lot of cases, like, you can just have money so that you can live more comfortably, or because there's certain things that are like materialistic that you might want. That's not necessarily my philosophy, but hey, it's your life. Like, you're you can live your life however you feel like living it. And if um you know materialistic things is what makes you happy, then hey, go for it. But at the same time, like, when it comes to just becoming rich and just having money just so that you can say, "Oh, I'm rich," or "I have such and such amount of money," or just to have that money, like, I just feel like there's no point in doing that. Like, a lot of people are, "Oh, I want to become such and such because such and such pays a lot," or "I want to, become the biggest rapper because, obviously you're getting paid a lot." And that's not necessarily because you want to prove that you're the best at something, or because it's something that you really like legitimately enjoy doing. It's just something that you can get money from doing. And if people, like, I do get that capitalism it does come with, like, with the perk of, okay, um since money is a motivator, it incentivizes innovation. Since innovation is incentivized, then we have, a lot of different things that are going on, and we can advance forward as humans. But at the same time, a lot of these people, they're not innovating because they want to bring humans forward. They're innovating because they know that they can make money off of something, rather than you know doing it for a humble reason. Um, and that's honestly what's wrong with capitalism, and that's what's wrong with allowing people to accumulate so much money based on them being rich, and then they can put their money in a bunch of different places, and then they just keep making more and more and more money. Like, obviously, if people just stop buying stuff, that's some certain people wouldn't be as rich. But it's you can't blame somebody for wanting to go buy something, or wanting to go see somebody at a show or something like that. It's all just a matter of what are these people really doing with their money?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I feel as though a lot of millionaires and billionaires, um, they probably aren't doing as much as they should with their excess wealth. Now, I don't blame people for wanting to obtain wealth because, I mean, we're told this all of our lives that we should get money so we can feel financially secure. But once we're past that point of financial security and we have all this wealth, well, what now? We're gonna build businesses, get into real estate or whatever. A lot of I feel as though it's a requirement for a millionaire or a billionaire to get into philanthropy and give a lot back. But there's no way to say how much of that wealth is going into the betterment of society. Now, a lot of billionaires are doing a lot to improve you know, situational poverty, and you know, poverty in a lot of places. But there you also get a lot of people. I don't want to name any names, but you can see it a lot on YouTube where they just buy rich stuff for no reason. They'll just flex with their money or whatever, and not really do anything with it. Now they could, say, "Hey, I do stuff with my money. I give like $1 million, $2 million to a charity or every year." While that is good, I feel I don't want to say, like I said, I don't want millionaires and billionaires to be punished, but it's come to the point where the disparity has become so high that billionaires and millionaires kind of have to actively participate into redistributing their wealth, which I wouldn't want to say in your typical socialistic mean, but in sort of a way where they would still be wealthy, but a lot of that excess income would be used, for a greater good. Kind of like what said, or I'm sorry, HP. Kind of like what HP said. Kind of like what HP said in the beginning of the podcast, where you can get this board and find out what we can do with this excess money. Now, it doesn't have to be for discovering like freaking Anunnaki or something like that. But that is a cool suggestion.
Need bungaloid research, bro.
You see, that was more of a joke topic. I was just, trying to make some funny discussion. But I think listen. Anyway, I think the crux of the problem is, at least in the U.S., I would say I would say everywhere. You are always told that the more money you have, the safer you will be, at least in terms of living comfortably. So, with that being said, we established that money is freedom in this world that we're living in, unfortunately. So it makes sense to want to have the most amount of money that you can get. So I don't blame billionaires for hoarding this money. They want to ensure that they'll live comfortably. They want to ensure that their children will live comfortably, their grandchildren, so on and so forth. So like I said, I can't really blame them. The problem lies at society, really, and that's kind of a cop out of that's kind of a cop out of a blame. Just say it's society, but that's really what it is. We're always told more money, because money will free you.
I think, well, I don't want to stay on economics too long because
yeah. Well, I know that. Let me just really quickly here clarify something I said earlier, because I said you don't have to have money to be happy, and I understand how much of a naive statement that is, but it really shouldn't. You really shouldn't need money to be happy. You really shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
It's ridiculous.
You shouldn't. But in a vanity-filled world, it kind of do need it. I mean,
exactly. That's
some of the poorest countries and the poorest people on earth are the happiest people, because
the happiest and healthiest.
They have all that they have. They don't need all this excess. While it is some, a very
simple life,
very Buddhist or monk concept that all these earthly desires are not necessary, or like a Christian concept, like where you don't need mammon or freaking worldly things to be happy. I'd say if we live in a society or first world country, it's shoved in our face. We want it. All of us want it. I mean, yeah, you could place the blame on society, but you know, I'd say it is a mixture of society's fault. Well, I say you could say everything is a fault of society, but I place the blame. I place most of the blame on government. I think the government hadn't done enough, quick enough to solve this problem. Government, I feel like as though government has been the cause of most of the plagues of the first world, and they, just haven't done enough, or they're just too corrupt or ran by people, flawed people, where specific issues aren't solved correctly.
I think society was the wrong term for me to use, because I'm like reflecting on it now. It's more just human nature. Humans just want to flex, man. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. And they also just do what they're, or a large majority of people at least, just do what they're told. So they're gonna hear money is freedom. They're gonna get a lot of money, and at the same time, they're gonna want to flex all that money that they have in a show of vanity.
Yeah.
Around during the Industrial Revolution, when mass production became a thing, you saw more and more people buying these cheap, like the fake luxury items, basically, where they want to be part of that rich world, the wealthy. And I think that really just shows how it's not even a societal problem. It's just human nature, man. People just want, they're naturally greedy. You can, everyone can agree with this.
Yeah, I think we are naturally greedy, but then again, you don't really have to be greedy to want money to, like, you kind of actually need money for things that you like want to enjoy. Like, if you want to discover the world, you need money. Or let's say you're a car enthusiast, you need money to upgrade your car or PC. Like these things are all just items, vanity. But you don't have to buy the biggest house or a Lamborghini to need money to enjoy basic experiences.
Yeah, I think what you brought up is more passions that require money. I think that's a little different than just hoarding money and buying luxury goods because you can.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. You have anything to say about this, Black?
Honestly, I've been stuck on that real estate comment, bro. Like, I just want to know who in the hell just thought, yeah, I want to sell some houses. That's that's fun. Like, that's how you know, like, some of these like occupations are just like purely for money. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I need to buy. Like, sometimes my dad's even like that. He's like, oh, I need to, invest or buy more houses so that, like, you can flip those and then you just make a profit off of it. Like, I don't know who in the actual hell thought, like, for the first time, yes, I want to be a real estate agent because it's fun. It's something that I always wanted to be. Like, I aspire to be this. Like, that sounds like the most boring thing to have to do, like walk around in the same house like over and over and over, or like have to manage houses and then sell houses. Like it's retarded. But yeah, like I get the whole you need money. It takes money to make money, and then you need money to have fun with a lot of different things like you know, obviously if you're a car person, you need money to buy cars, or if even people who play video games, it takes money to buy video games and to play them, or have a system that's that you can actually enjoy playing them on. And even artists, like that's what kind of happens with a lot of artists, like they don't have enough money to fully enjoy themselves, or to fully like expand their reaches within art, because it takes money to buy a lot of these different supplies. um but like I just feel like at the end of the day, if your main goal is to make money, and you don't really have a reason to use that money, it's just you're making money, I don't really see a point in that.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to shame or discourage people that want to obtain wealth. Like I want to obtain wealth. A lot of it, I'm pretty sure, mostly, almost everyone wants to obtain wealth for different reasons. But you gotta, understand, why do you need that wealth? What do you want to do with that wealth? I feel as though everyone should be able to attain enough wealth to, you know, not only for the basic things in life, but for things they couldn't enjoy. But it's when you cross that line where vanity, you know, blinds what you need that money for. Like when the purpose of your money is solely to buy things of vanity, and wealth clouds your vision, and instead of doing things like investing or giving back into your community, or investing in new humanitarian ideas that could potentially benefit society or humanity as a whole. But if you don't use that wealth, you know, for purposeful things, then I feel as though, well, you're just a greedy person. You you just obtaining money just to stockpile because you think money is the most important thing in life, which it isn't. It's important, but it's not the most important thing in life. Far from it. But money has been associated with a lot of important things in life. That's the problem. Money has become linked with a lot of necessities and important things in life. So you can't really avoid that. You can't really disassociate those things.
It really is easier said than done, isn't it? It's so easy to tell someone what they should or shouldn't do with their money. And then when you're in their shoes, you're probably going to do the exact same thing that they're doing.
Yeah, you really can't tell people what to do with their money. But
ain't no rest for the wicked.
Ain't no rest for the wicked.
I think it's a good time to take a small intermission. Perhaps gain some more voices.
Some goofies that don't know how to show up on time.
Pretty much everyone
as well. Well, actually, yes, that is true. Because I came like 15 minutes late to the time that I proposed. But we never start on time anyway. So, that being said, intermission.
It's okay, no
Such
cry.
is fate. Anyway, moving on. Is $28 is $28 enough to take a woman on a date?
Hell no.
I'd say it depends.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe on a first date, because you know, do a quick McDonald's date.
Depends on the girl, but more often than not, no.
What would your first date look like?
I've never like I've dated people, but I've never like actually legitimately like been on a date with somebody. Like
Yeah,
I've been to like a movie theater, like technically a date, but like that's so cliche. It's like I don't know. It's
yeah.
more so like, do you want to hang out, and then like maybe we'll get food. It's like
The only
that.
times I've actually like dated like that was in college, when I like took girls to like these weird restaurants. But
Yeah, I say.
I think. Wait, what were you gonna say?
I say first dates typically pertain to just going to a low key restaurant. So,
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say that. Like what I do now, I wouldn't even take them to a low key restaurant anymore. Like, just gotta keep it as casual as possible. That means McDonald's, movies, or just something that's not gonna cost too much, because it's a first date. You don't want to go all out, especially since there's a possibility that you might not ever even see each other again. So,
she
That's the
ain't gonna
thing,
rock.
though.
She ain't gonna rock with you after you're done. You see, the
dude,
whole
it's called,
Yeah,
look,
she ain't gonna rock with you after McDonald's. You have to show to her.
here's
See, I don't agree with this necessarily, but this is how you know, through experience women work. If you show them that you care or that you're willing to drop cash on them, then it gives them the perception that you're putting them, on a pedestal, and they want that. Like they want to feel important to you. And if
but
you're doing stuff like that, then they feel important, and therefore they're willing to invest more into you if they feel like they're being invested into.
I see where you're coming from, but that, like, what is your goal? Like, do you just want to like one and done this girl? Like, no. If you need to gauge her response on how she's gonna take a McDonald's date. If
Yeah,
it's
I
if she
kind
if
of did
she
that. Like I did go on one date technically. It was at a mall though. But the thing is, I didn't pay. She insisted on paying. So like if it's a female like that, like yeah, but those are like more rare cases. If there's like an understanding that's like pre-established, like hey, I'm paying or whatever the case may be, like you don't want her to pay. If she's offering to pay, then like that's a different situation. Because I have been in that situation uh where she just like didn't let me pay.
a lot of girls will really not want you to pay to prove that they're independent. Which
She even paid for
Yeah.
me too. Like
I'm cool with
I'm
that. I don't care.
Like I'm trying to get some boba. You didn't have to pay for me, bro.
I
Usually
just
it's ideal to just split the bill, because that's what I did on. Yeah, that's what I did most of the time.
I think it should be equal, but I mean I think you should make the gesture, like the kind gesture. If you like the girl, you should definitely make the gesture to offer to pay first. But a lot of the times, girls are more than willing to pay for their own part. I just think you can take a girl and take a girl to McDonald's on a first date. The girl has to rock with you first. Like I
See,
feel as though
that's what I was getting at. That was more of an exaggeration on my part, because I don't think I would personally take a girl to McDonald's, and just it was meant to like just Just somewhere that's low cost, because you know it's like I said, it's a first date. You don't want to blow too much money on the first date. Maybe the second date.
I
Definitely
feel
the third date.
I feel as though it kind of it does matter, but it kind of doesn't. Like the girl, you'll know when a girl rocks with you. Like if she rocks with you, you can literally do anything for the first date. Like you don't even have to go to a restaurant or anywhere. Like you guys could just chill or do whatever.
And then
I want to hear what Easy thinks. Well, Big Easy, what are your thoughts? Since I feel like you have the most experience when it comes to actually going on dates with females.
The thing about this topic is that's why I want everybody to get theirs out the way. The thing about that is when it comes down to it, bro, women, and this is from my experiences, women, of course, like what Dylan, Kayvon said, and Tenho said, well, said, they want to
Yo,
feel.
you can't be splitting up like that, bro. Come on.
Hey, well, can I explain? Basically,
this boy
I feel as though from my experiences, they want to be catered. So even if it's on the first date, like Dylan said, if they rock with you, then of course, you know, anything can happen for the first date. You know, normally if a female really rock with you, she just say, well, you know, you can either pull up to my place, I can pull up to yours, you know, or we could like, you know, you can just pick me up, we kick it in the car. Like it's just super casual, you know. Yeah, y'all might go get something to eat, but like y'all just trying to get to know each other, you know, try to, you know, be around each other more. Like especially if it's a first date, you know, trying to gauge each other's responses, try to gauge each other's, you know, vibe. When it comes to the second date, same thing still applies, but in essence, you still gotta, you know, let her know that you really, you know, would, if need be, drop a bag on her. So
Yeah,
like, so like, of course, you know, but most importantly, women want to feel important, and if they rock with you, they expect you to rock with them in the same way they rock with you. That's all I gotta say for it.
Yeah, pretty much. First date, you can do whatever, but you know,
Third date,
as a man, you're gonna have to, you know, show that you got her. You know, girls like to be appreciated. So
I feel like
obviously you're
third
gonna
date is when
drop money.
when you should show that.
Yeah,
I feel like after the third date, that's like the that is a decider, because after that you can just do whatever. you want.
At that point, if you're on a third date, the girl rocks with you. Like she's
Exactly. So
gonna
you can just do whatever you want after that.
she's
point.
pretty much your girlfriend at that point. Like
All right,
And we're back.
These goofies don't know how to be punctual.
Hey man, stuff to do.
even though we literally set a date, but
Hey man, things come up.
Anyway,
yeah, okay.
matcha tea. Is it good?
Yes.
No.
What was
No, it is not actually. That was a trick question.
Nah, y'all capping. Hold on. I know this ain't a topic, but bro, matcha goes hard, bro. Not
It
tea
really
necessarily,
doesn't.
go hard.
not as tea, but like if you're drinking like a matcha like smoothie or like something.
No, that's even worse.
Oh my! You
No,
know what?
I
Just
agree
move
with
on. Just
Kayvon
move
on
on.
this.
Go.
one,
Just
man.
go. Just move on. I don't have
Whoa.
time for the.
Whoa, okay, you know what?
I'm
You're right.
gonna be honest. I've never drunk matcha, and I probably will never.
It's
but,
bitter. I don't think you would like it. It's bitter and sour, depending on how it's prepared.
My
Anyway.
aunt infestation is back, and it's worse. Can't go in the kitchen without seeing about like 200 ants at a time. Just bull in there for no reason. Saw a cockroach today too. I've never seen a cockroach like just out in public.
That means they're
I
ugly.
remember at one point there is a point in my house's life. It was like around 2-3 years ago, where as soon as we sat down for dinner, all the ants would pull up, and as soon as we were done, they would just all dip at the same time.
They know. Their family too. You don't think ants got a family? Come on, ants life. Bugs life.
Bugs life.
I believe
Ants
Kayvon
life.
had a topic you wanted to
Did he?
delve into.
You mean black?
You wanted to delve into it. You have to say it.
Bro, I don't know what topic you're referring to, bro. I see what is friendship.
So is this what we do?
Bro, what are you talking about? The next one is what is friendship?
All right.
That's technically your topic. But I mean, if you would like me to talk about this topic, I can gladly do that for you.
Might as well, because that's the one you wanted to start off with, isn't it?
Is it? Bro, no, I
That's
don't know.
what you said you want. Okay, anyway.
Okay, yeah.
It's-
Anyway, what is friendship? See, friendship is hard to objectively define, right? Because there's just like so many different factors that go into it. But I mean, simply the way I'd put it is just somebody who just unconditionally would put you above themselves and try to elevate you as much as they can, or somebody that you could have back you up no matter what. And that's like honestly like what it comes down to. Like a lot of people want to say like, oh, I have so many friends, or I have friends that'll do this. Like just because somebody like buys something for you doesn't mean they're your friend. Like that's like they're trying to buy your friendship. Like you cannot buy friendship. Like if somebody wasn't willing to drop what they were doing, if say you were in some sort of emergency and pull up, then they're not your friend. Like uh even like this is something that I talk to my dad about actually a lot, is you don't necessarily have to have like the same like ideals or like the same interests for somebody to like necessarily be your friend. Like you don't have to talk to them like conversation wise, but if it's somebody that you can trust, and somebody that respects you, and you respect them as well, somebody that you kind of see as your equal, that's what I would call a friend, or even somebody that you just like look up to.
Yeah, I think, respect has a lot to do with it. You have to have a certain amount of respect for that person, because if you don't have respect for that person, well, first of all, let me say, you're not their friend. They can possibly consider you a friend, but you're not their friend if you don't respect them, and vice versa. Second of all, if you don't have respect for that person, actually, really, the first point is really the only point I had. I don't know why I bulleted them like that. Anyway,
I think you could
I'm
have
not-
a certain amount of respect for someone and still not be their friend, though.
I'm
oh
not.
yeah,
person.
but I'm
You
saying
can
respect
respect
is a huge
somebody,
part of it.
your friend. Like
Yeah.
but if you're somebody's friend, it's kind of given that you respect them.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not gonna go to the whole kawaii shown in the anime Nakama friendship, My Little Pony friendship's magic, all this cartoon dribble. I'm gonna go by friendship. I usually like to see it in wartime standings. Like a lot of friendships developed on the battlefield. I feel as though friendship isn't just a relationship with someone that you have similar interests with, or share similar attitudes or whatnot. Friendships develop first. It develops out of a mutual connection of something. Maybe you like their attitude, or they're just a decent person to hang around with. I think you have to enjoy that person's presence, or you can't You can't just tolerate that person's presence. You have to actually enjoy that person's presence. I think camaraderie defines friendship. I think friendship also is a relationship where you look after someone's back. Like a true friend, a friend would. And you know, instead a lot of people saying, "Oh, you do you, girl. You know, go and get you that man. Yada 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 yada, or whatever. Like, go after her, bro. Go, hey, yo. You need to smash her. I say a true friend would say, "Hey, bro. Even if it will make the other person upset, and he's like, you don't know me. You're not me. You know." I think ultimately looking after say, hey man, I don't think that girl is right for you. You know, hey, bro, I'm looking after you. I just don't have a good feeling about this girl. You know, I think friendship, a friendship contains where you can say that to someone because you've garnered enough care and respect for that person. And you know, you're just it's kind of like being a parent or being a sibling. I say a friendship is akin to a brotherhood or a sisterhood. It's like kind of being a sibling. A lot of best friends referred to each other as brothers or bros because they've guarded that camaraderie. Just because you fight with your brother, or you're mad at your brother for a period of time, I think friendship always brings, even after being divisive, friendship brings those people together eventually, because they'll eventually come together and drink again or play a game again. I think that's what true friendship is. Having that connection where no matter what you can rock with that person, due to divisiveness or disagreement, the camaraderie that agape, that type of love, it will truly define what a real friendship is, and determines that what that is between a friendship and an acquaintanceship. I think a lot of people get acquaintance and friendship mixed together a lot, and a lot of people have false friends. I don't think a friendship is true if you find someone, you think of someone as a friend, but that person doesn't have that mutual attitude towards you. I think it needs to be you guys both have to have that bond to truly define yourself with that person as a friend.
Yeah, definitely has to be genuine from both sides.
Yeah.
I feel like what you were saying with people mistaking acquaintances for friendship is especially common nowadays, because people always say, "Oh yeah, I really vibe with this person," but yeah, that's all you do. You just vibe with them. You're just hanging out with that person.
Yeah.
And that person's not actually your friend. You're probably not even actually their friend. I think when you put their wants, their desires, even possibly their life over your own, that's how you know that you have that bond, you have that intrinsic relationship with that person. But it has to be mutual, of course. That person also has to put you over themselves at points, not entirely, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of the greatest friendships are between people that have nothing in common. It just kind of it develops out of something. It's kind of like romantic love in a sense, but it's not the romantic love. It's like the agape love, like the different type of love that kind of develops between a friend, just based off of different situations you guys go through.
It's also that
Right.
that sense of empathy. You can also empathize with that person, and they can empathize with you, and it creates kind of this synergy where you just it's hard to swim, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like when
Yeah,
you
yeah.
and your friend like you share the same feelings, like
Same
This
wavelength,
is-
bro.
yeah, same wavelength, bro. What's the same wavelength? I hate the term, but that's basically what it is.
Yeah, and like, okay, on that basis, what would you say? Would you say a toxic quote unquote friendship exists since there isn't like that mutual respect?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's
That
not.
shit can get pretty bad if it's like coming back to the respecting. If one of them respects the other, and the other one doesn't feel the same way, one of them might as well could disrespect them.
Yeah.
What?
Who
What happened?
just did that?
What happened?
Oh, Big Easy, what's going on, bro?
Are you good, bro?
What happened?
Oh,
Died.
fuck. That hurts, bitch.
Is he good?
Oh, fuck.
Man,
You know
I'm
what?
dead, man.
I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen.
What the fuck?
Hey,
Man,
anyway.
What was I? Oh, okay.
I'm
So
here.
like, yeah,
Fuck.
a friendship can definitely become very toxic when two people don't. One of them might have respect for the other, but the other one may disrespect the other. You know what I mean? May not think of them as as an equal, or thinks they're better than them, because it causes a lot of insecurity within the relationship. And instead of it being healthy competition, a healthy rivalry between two pals, it becomes more of a what's the word I'm looking for? It just becomes an unhealthy competition where it's like there's more hate than there is love, and it just causes really bad things to happen.
I think what Kayvon was trying to get at was a toxic relationship technically
Whoa.
can't really exist because it wouldn't be considered a friendship because that
But
person
then
doesn't respect the
again,
other person. So they
then
weren't
again,
really ever friends to begin with.
well,
I-
that's just again, it's subjective, because like there's a lot of different, like, everybody has their own definition for what friendship. And if your definition of what friendship is you following somebody instead of it being a mutual thing between two or more people, it could definitely be a friendship, even if you don't consider it one. You know what I
Well,
mean?
there is one unified definition of what a friend generally is. And I think most people that have actual friends can relate to that definition on some level. Someone who's never had a friend obviously doesn't have that idea of what a friend. They just latch on to whoever's nice to them or whoever they perceive as being nice to them. So obviously that's not really being a friend.
Here's how I get. Go ahead.
No, you go on.
Here's how I gauge friendship. Think about any person you know. Can you go up to their face and just roast their boots off and not think about the repercussions of your words? Now, think of that same person. Can you later go to that person and pour out your emotions or say something personal, like you want to discuss your mental or physical health to that person? Can you do that to the same person that you just roasted in front, like you roasted? If you can do that, I think
If they're
that's
your
your
brother,
friend.
if they're your brother, of course you can. A friendship is always like you said, is always a brotherhood. So even if you roast the fuck out of that person, as a brother, you should be able to come right back and be like, hey man, look, I have a problem with this, or hey man, look, I don't think what I'm doing is right. Can you impart some advice? Like if you're able to do that to that same person you roasted, then of course, yeah, that's your friend. That's your bro.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
he's not going to roast you back and actually be for real with it. Like he's gonna just play along with it. Y'all bro.
Exactly. And even if it is serious and you guys like really are at each other's throats, you'll come back together anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
It's for real though. Like when you roast each other like seriously, and you like dap each other up like right after. Like,
Yep.
Like that's how like that's really your homie, because like I used to do that in school like all the time. Like I'd be like we really be coming at each other's necks like for no reason at all. But then like we just start having like a random conversation like right after, like because like that was just kind of that understanding. Like not everybody's like that, but that was
I think it's a man thing.
Yeah, I think it's a psychological.
Like I don't think women understand that. Like women wonder why dudes will insult each other, because women won't do that. Women will act all sugary. Well, I don't want to generalize. I don't want to generalize, but
I don't want to do that, but for the most part,
they do that.
like I see a lot of girls that will be snaky, but for example, when kids play fight, like they'll like it can be a play fight. It can actually be a serious fight. Like kids will literally fight each other, and then like eat a Happy Meal and talk about like the new episode of Dragon Ball Z straight afterwards. It's just because boys like competition. They like the it's that sign of, I think it's toughness. It's like toughness, love through toughness. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
It's toughness and compassion rolled all into one.
I think I found it.
For the friendship.
You do that. I think because you see them as your equal.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like really important. Like if it's like when it comes down to friendship, like that's how you know like you have a best friend. Like if there's somebody that like you legitimately see as your equal, like that's how you know it's somebody that you can be like for real and like straight up with, because you don't want to feel like you're above someone else, but you also don't want to feel like that person doesn't put you, on a high enough pedestal to like look at you and be like, I I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to be better than you. I just want to be somebody that's, like that you respect. And you kind of have to, when it comes down to friendship, like you have to want that person's friendship, and then you want to be able to give that person like friendship as well. Like you want that person to like you. You want that person to respect you. So you can't feel like you're on a higher level than they are.
And vice versa, of course.
Yeah.
Damn, it's just amazing, man, how we're able to form these relationships. And it doesn't even have to be spoken most of the time. You just know. You just know. It's amazing to me.
What about statements like for example, like sometimes in a TV show, like when a friend thinks they're doing the right thing for that other person, and the other person finds out, and they'll like be mad at that friend and want to break off the friendship. Like for example, oh, friends don't lie, and the want to cut off.
That's a TV thing, man.
You think that's a TV thing? Just a TV thing?
Like
I mean, it could
that in real life. Like I feel like, people, the thing is like people like to make decisions for others without fully considering like, I should say this like to this person. Like honestly, if you're not willing to be like 100% like straight up with somebody, like and say something how it is to somebody's face, like I don't feel like you're really their friend. Like you should be able to say like, bro, what you did, I don't mess with that. Like, or whatever is going on, I don't mess with that. I'm about to make this decision and I'm gonna need you to be like 100% like straight up with me because we're on that kind of level. I be straight up with you 100%, you be straight up with me, and it's just like a case of people thinking that they know somebody enough. Like it doesn't matter how much you know somebody. It it comes down to you making sure they're okay with it. Like when you're trying to like make a decision for somebody, because it could be like something that just like happens on a day. Like say somebody like wants something to eat and you're like, oh, I know this person like well enough, I'm gonna get this. Maybe that day they're just not feeling that. Like maybe you want to get them a burger, but on that day maybe they want some pizza or something like that. Maybe they're just not feeling it. But people just like to do things just because they think you know that's the right thing to do. And honestly, that's not, I wouldn't consider that friendship. That's like, you know, people who have an understanding of each other, but they're not like on a honesty level.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that, especially the part where you said that people just make decisions for each other. I agree that there should be communication first, but sometimes people don't want to hear uh what the other person has to say. They just want to they're hard set on the path that lies ahead of them. They only want to do one thing. They don't want to change anything. So sometimes, if you're a concerned friend and they're not trying to hear you, you kind of it's a slippery slope, but you got to do what you got to do. You feel me? And if you feel like that's the best thing to do, then your friend should understand.
Because you don't want to see them hurt themselves. Because
Exactly.
you care for that person. Because
So
you
obviously,
see what they're doing is like destructive.
mm-hmm.
Like
So you're gonna be lying to them, but like you're kind of doing it in hopes that they will become better. So you're still trying to help them. So with the example, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll explain later.
I was just gonna say that it's just like a kid or your child playing with matches. You might take away that matchbox, and that kid's gonna hate you. He'll be mad at you, but you were just looking out for them. You don't want them to be hurt.
With the example that Black brought up with the buying a certain food for them, even though they weren't feeling it that way. I mean, I think that's kind of different because it's not going to have a long lasting effect, at least in terms of that person's health or character, because that's just an everyday thing. I think if someone did that for me, I'd be upset, but I'd still like see it as a nice gesture, so I wouldn't think too much of it. But if I was like hard set on doing something that could have probably hurt me, hurt someone else, or something like that, and someone had to lie to me in order to get me to stop doing it, I would be thankful. That's just the way I see it, at least. Maybe you have another example that.
Nah, like yeah, I feel like there are things that are like necessary to do for somebody. Like if there's some sort of like drugs involved or whatever the case may be, and you feel like that's something that's like destructive towards them, or even like that same like example of like, oh, I don't feel like that person is right for you. I The only thing is like I feel like you have to confront them about it. Like you have to be upfront about it. Um, if personally, if it's serious enough, if it's life threatening, I would get involved. But if it's something else that I honestly can't control or I can influence, but I feel like I can't I don't want to sacrifice that person's like trust in order to see an outcome that I want to see for them, even if it does overall help them. It's just like something that's like, I'd have to get other people involved as well, because it's not something that, I could do, because I feel some sort of like self-righteous, or I feel like it's the right thing in my mind, because I might not have all of the details, um, in whatever case.
You see, I think it just becomes a question of pursuit of happiness then, because let me just bring about an extreme example. Say your friend wanted to do something that would 100% get themselves killed, but they wanted to do it. They wanted to be that way, and they're doing it fully knowing that they're gonna die. Would you let them do it, knowing that? Because personally, me, I wouldn't. I would do everything in my power to keep them alive. I don't want them to go. I know it's selfish. I know it's selfish. But how could I live myself just allowing my friend to die like that? I couldn't do it personally.
It's not an impulse decision. Like, it's like, what can I do about that? It's either, do I say you're best friends, right? Do I force this person to keep living and having an issue with their best friend, or like having an issue within themselves, or do I allow them to get what they want? Like, it is selfish. Like, it comes down to like a basic like morality thing, or like, would you or would you not? And it's definitely personal. Like, I don't see anything wrong with either side. Personally, if that's something that they wholeheartedly like 100% wanted, I can't stop them,
Yeah,
I it's
I
it's
think
not
it's
that I
more.
don't have the ability to do so, but I just feel like it wouldn't be right to them to do that for me. Like, I understand that we're friends, and technically, yes, I am doing something with it for their best interest, or even if they don't feel like it's in their best interest, it's something that I feel like, you know, it's benefiting their health. I still wouldn't do it, because I have to keep in mind that it's not really my decision at the end of the day. It's something that I don't have the power to choose. Like, I can't play God and like decide this is not something that I want you to do.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, in my case, it's just me being selfish and possibly, no, not even possibly, just outright denying what this person wants. So I think eventually I would cave in, and it'd be a painful decision, but I would cave in eventually. But I still would do everything in my power to keep them on this earth, this good green earth.
That's why you don't surround yourself with fake people, because they will let you go down that path of destruction, and
Right.
you'll end up all and it's the same people that will let you go down that path of destruction when you're in your worst and most down time. Those are the same people that will be out of your life the first thing, while someone that's trying to help you and prevent you going that path of destruction, and you hate them for that, and you push them away, and still go down that path of destruction. Those same people that you spited will be the first to come into your life and help you get back up. That's
They're
why.
going to be suffering the most when you're dead.
Exactly. That reminds me of that Family Matter episode where freaking Laura wanted to be just like her friend, and go out at night and party because her parents were so restrictive, and like she yelled at her parents, like she's like, I hate you guys, and then she rebelled anyway and got hurt, and she later talked to that friend she wanted to be like, and she was like, at least you got parents that care. My parents don't call me, they don't care where I am. That's why I do all these things, because I feel empty inside, because I have no real relationship, and then Laura realized, man, they were really looking out for me. And I think everyone's had that moment where they think later, and in hindsight, like, wow, what they said, I probably should have gone that route.
Yeah, they don't really care
about this.
What's that?
Oh, I was asking Big Easy.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since he said anything.
This man saying anything? Yo, this man talking?
Dead.
This man died.
Well, I was gonna say,
Nah, it sounded like he's trying to say something, or I don't know what's going on, but his.
I hear background noise. But
what about you, Link?
I kind of lost my thought there for a sec.
is Big Easy asleep?
This man's out
This man.
Well,
Lord have mercy on his soul.
Be like that.
anyway. Yep, he's asleep. Anyway, let's just move on here. Sevo, you have a topic you want to delve into because I see you have a lot here.
I feel as though we've gone through that topic enough. I say my thesis statement. You can see a female's true colors through how she acts in her DMs.
I think that works with dudes too, to be honest.
Oh yeah. They can work with anyone. But
Wait, hold on. Technical difficulties.
So the topic, my thesis statement is, I think you can see a female's true colors through the action of DMs. Now, like it can be anyone. You can see anyone's true intentions or actions or colors through their DMs. But in this case, I feel like for a lot of dudes, I feel as though they need to hear that if you observe like let's say a female you're talking to, if the female you're talking to, if you see, that if you see if they're not responding in a specific time period or time length, or you notice some texts they respond, or some texts they don't, or some texts they respond in one word answers, and the act differently towards others. I think that's a good indicator. How that person truly feels about you.
Yeah. I was just like thinking of like all the excuses guys make for girls that do that type of stuff. You always hear things like, "Oh, bro, she's just a bad texter, bro. She's busy, man.
She's sleeping, man.
Oh, man.
She's asleep, bro. She works." Like, no, dude.
If she
No,
likes,
no.
if she likes you, she'll find a way to text you,
Exactly.
regardless of what she's doing. You know what I mean?
That's
If she's working, you best believe she has a couple seconds off. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take that long to text someone. So if she's not texting you back, you're shit out of luck, Holmes. Like,
I ain't even gonna.
she don't like you. But at the same time, some dudes, like, when they don't respond, dudes also have to take the hint. If she don't respond, she don't like you, bro.
I feel like though society would be better if they would be frank to people, but I understand that they're not trying to hurt people, but I think it's more detrimental.
Sometimes they're on it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I understand sometimes they're actually honest. I understand that, but a lot of the times, they're just kind of gonna ignore or ghost you. I feel like as though that's more detrimental to a man's psyche than people being honest towards their face. Kind of like the friendship thing, but it's different. That's why I say, you should use this if you're on dating apps. Like, if you observe their just notice her actions in the first 3 texts. Or sometimes it might take longer, but usually it's in those 3 texts. If she's responding in one-word responses, or
2 words.
2 words, or she's taking extra long, or not responding at all. Just move on. Don't waste your time.
Just move
Like
on.
you can see her true colors.
Just leave just leave her on red, man.
Exactly.
Move on.
You know how she feels.
She's not interested.
So
Cool. But the thing here is sometimes they're honest, and the flip side of, it's like sometimes the dudes will get aggressive and will be like, "Oh, you're such a bitch" type of shit, like, which is also unfair because sometimes it's like a double-edged sword. If they lie, they're asshole, or like they're a bitch. If she's honest, she's also a bitch.
That's a huge thing for me. All right, I was just thinking about this a couple of days ago. A lot of people do not know how to take rejection like the right way. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Just because the other person is a bitch, you don't like act like a dick. To balance that out. Just like, all right, like you don't have to specifically spite that person just because they rejected you and they made their conscious choice that they just don't like you. Now I understand the frustration. I almost definitely understand the frustration. But I feel as though it's healthier to just pick up your suitcase, pick up your briefcase, and leave. Like a job interview or a job. Are you gonna cuss out the job because they said you're not the right candidate, or I'm sorry, but you don't qualify for the job? No, you don't ruin your employment opportunities in the future with that company because you got rejected once. You brush off. You say, all right, okay. Have a nice day, whatever. Move on with your life. You don't have to be extra about it.
Right.
I think it's a really modern problem. I say modern because in this day and age, people just want to be handed things, and people cater to that type of give me lifestyle. And you see a lot, like you see this. I'm not gonna say see this, but a really good example of this is like participation prizes or something like that. Like you get a reward for just being there, and people just expect to be giving everything in life, everything and anything. So that breeds really, really nasty reactions to rejection. Not even in just the dating life, in the professional life as well. Because people have absolute meltdowns about not getting a job at Burger King these days. And the same thing when they get rejected. And it's even easier to get mad over text because you have that safeguard of the phone. You don't really have you don't have that anxiety. Oh my god, dude, I'm losing my train of thought with hearing this man just snoring, dude.
You get just kick him off the call.
I have him muted. So.
Jesus. Anyway, like I was saying, you have that safeguard of the phone between you and the person you're talking to. So you have a, I'm not gonna say a more of an inclination to get angry with that person, but it's safer to get angry with that person and just let out your emotions, because there's probably not gonna be any repercussions. Let's be honest. So
I just
got
want
a
to
lot of anonymity too.
I just want to say for the bros out there, I understand your pain, as much as you do. I've been in those situations.
Care about you.
But
I said on God, these hoes don't care about you.
yeah, I mean, like you should know how females operate in the 21st century. Like, I think just know your self-worth, dude. If the female's not gonna give you the time of day, they're missing out. So just move on. Who cares? There's like a billion, several billion of these hoes out here.
There's several billion dudes and women. You have choices these days.
My question is though, like, what would you define as like, a time frame that would be respectable or, that shows interest? Because I'm not even gonna lie, like, it's just a weird thing that I do, but I do like if I see a notification from somebody that like I'm interested in, I don't respond immediately. Like if there's like that kind of basis that like, okay, she's responding immediately, I respond immediately, then I'm okay with that. But like I kind of space out the text, like maybe I wait like 5 to 10 minutes, like not to kill the conversation, but because I don't want to seem like desperate, because that's like something that you do not want to do. You don't want to seem like you're way more invested into it than she is, because
Right.
if
Yeah,
that's the case, then like she might it might intimidate her, and like she might like back off or whatever the case may be, or like she might think you're weird.
Or
So
creepy, or like
yeah,
you also may seem like you got nothing else to do.
yeah,
You
like
don't want
you
to.
got nothing
You don't want
better.
to come off as boring. You know what I mean?
I think it kind of that the spatial barrier kind of develops like naturally, like unconscious, like a mutual like conscious decision of like the spatial boundaries between texts. I think that develops between conversations because like for example the girl I'm talking to, it was like when we first like were messaging each other, it was like it immediately like it was like afterwards like a couple of minutes or actually sometimes a couple of seconds afterwards we'll message each other, but like after some time like since we kind of like type in paragraphs, there is like a spatial gap that developed. You want to seem like you have other stuff you're doing.
Right.
And sometimes it's not even that, man. Like you genuinely like it gets tiring, dude.
Yeah.
But
It gets tiring, but it's also
But-
it
but-
gives
but-
the
but-
effect that you're doing
Cannot
other things.
But the barometer to indicate that you rock with each other is obviously you guys are still messaging each other like consistently. There's no, as long as it's not one word responses and one party is messaging in a few minutes or hours and one is responding messaging like 5 days or like in short response. I mean, if you guys found an equal ground and you're consistent with the text, the attitude, then it should be a good indication that you guys are into each other.
here's what I'll say regarding the initial proposition that came out, or not proposition, just the initial question that he
I need
raised.
you to stop using the government, bro.
What?
The government, my government name, bro.
Oh, right. My apologies.
Rip.
My apologies, Black.
People,
But
me.com.
anyway, I think responding in spaces is that's just BS to me, man. I used to do that too, but over time, I just really I know it's that communicative process, especially, well, not even especially, just it's exclusive basically to texting. I understand that it's part of the thing. You don't want to seem busy. You don't want to seem not. You don't want to seem not busy. You don't want to seem desperate. All this, it's all BS, man. Just do whatever you want to do. I understand. Like I said, I can't stress this enough. I understand that it's part of the communication, but it's just so dumb to me, man. Like, why?
I just feel as though you should respond.
Sometimes it just matters.
I just feel as
Respond
though
when you can respond.
I feel as though
Just do whatever.
it doesn't really matter. It just respond when you feel like it and can. But at the same time, I just think you just gotta be consistent with it. Like
Yeah.
Right.
you can't just see someone's message and respond to them in like 2 weeks. Like just be consistent with it. Like I see the message, but I'm doing something right now, or right now I can't like really respond to what they said. So maybe in a few hours, maybe in 10-20 minutes, I'll get to that. As long as you're consistent and don't just completely blow off that question or that the message. And then,
to what Kayvon was saying about seeming desperate, you'll only seem desperate if you follow up on like something on a conversation like, well, where you at? Where you at? Like that's the only way you'll seem desperate, in my opinion. Like you won't seem desperate any other time. Like you just in conversation, If you ask the other person, like if that person leaves for like I'm not gonna say a certain amount of time, just any time. They leave for any time and then you follow up. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Then you're gonna seem desperate. Of course, if it's to the extreme where they're just like not being consistent at all, like they leave you unread for like, let's say, more than a week. I think the cutoff is more like 3 days.
Yeah,
in my opinion. But then that's when you'll be like, are you like there? Are you good?
All right, so I'm gonna pose this question as well. Like, what do you think of people like when they say, "Oh, my bad," like, sorry for the late response, or sorry, I was doing such and such. Like after like an hour, 2, 3 hours, like if they come back and they say like that, like how do you feel? Do you feel like they should say that, or if it's something that they understand they don't have to say and they still say it, like how do you read that?
It's like thanks for saying it, but you don't have to say that.
The only way that you have to say that is if all of like the only way you have to explain yourself is if you've been gone for like a day or two, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Not even a day, man. Not even a week, I'd say.
No, that's kind of sus. Cause then what the like? Are you okay? Like, are you dead? If you explain yourself after, you don't have to. If you just come back and are like, how you doing? Like, how you been? Like,
I think,
but like,
I was gonna explain like if you know that person, you don't like even a week could go by and you don't they don't have to update you really, because you basically you pretty much know.
Though?
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
if it's someone that you don't really know,
you're right. It depends on the person. Yeah.
If it's someone you don't really know and they don't respond for like 3 days, and yeah, you could start questioning. But for the most part, if someone tells you, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't respond," the only reason they should be saying that is if they were on a flight and they crashed into the Amazons and were gone for like a month. Like, there's no reason to be saying that. Like, it's a nice gesture, but it's not necessary.
I think some people just feel kind of guilty, or like you feel kind of bad. I think most of the time people are. I think 50% of the time people are lying when they make not just because they're lying. I don't think they're bad because of it. I think a lot of people just genuinely forget that message was there. And it's like, oh crap, and you message back.
Yeah, especially like if you have like a lot of people like in your messages, it could get hard to keep track.
But then again, that also leads back to how much do you really prioritize that person, and how much do you actually like care for that person, like specifically probably in a relationship or a dating scenario. Like,
see, I think it's unfair when that comes to like texting, because even with y'all, like I just forget that you guys even send messages. And I know Victor can. I mean,
Who?
Linkarion can attest to that because yeah.
This man HP takes like millennia to reply.
Amen.
I kind of see that like differently. Like in my opinion, I feel like if somebody understands that they don't have to say that, but they say it anyway, I don't think they're trying to like make an excuse like, oh, because like sometimes I do that as well. But the only reason why I do it is because like I know I don't have to explain myself, but I want to show interest. Like I legitimately I wanted to text you back, but here's what I was doing instead. Like if I'm gone for like 3 hours, like 3 hours isn't like too much, but at the same time, if you're having like a conversation with somebody, you don't want to like, you know, have make them wait like 3 hours to get like a response to something. But, you want to show that you are actually interested. So you're saying, sorry, I was doing such and such. Like I didn't mean to keep you waiting. Like you want to show that that you're uh keeping their you're being considerate towards their time. You're being considerate towards them and making sure that they understand that you didn't mean to make them wait.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Just
Because at that point, you have an actual reason to explain yourself. Because you were actually interested in that conversation, and you were in the middle of a conversation that you wanted to continue, and something came up. Just say, "My bad, I was doing so and so."
just another 21st century non-issue.
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to. Like, does it really matter? It's just
I feel like
people
people
a lot of things nowadays.
should just have the sense if someone rocks with them or not. Like,
Yeah.
I think people should know in a certain period of time, like if someone is rocking with them.
Nah, bro, she's just busy, bro.
Like one like for like you can like consistently text each other in a few minutes or hours, and then be gone like for like a day or like several hours, then text back without the person be like mad or wondering. I think like if they're texting back again, like you should know if the person is rocking with you or not. I don't know.
Right. That's not to say that they can't be busy, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys have been consistently talking for a pretty long time, she could be, or whoever it may be, could be busy uh, for like a few hours a day, and you could still be like, oh, she's busy, bro. She's busy, because sometimes it's valid, but.
Well, that's because you've been talking with them for a long time,
Right.
and you know that.
But if they're watching
just
TV,
making excuses for them. What's that?
but if they're like watching TV or playing a game,
Cat.
Yeah, then you're an asshole.
what if it's a very important scene in a TV show, or you're in an online match?
Yeah, if I'm playing fighters and I see somebody text me, bruh, they gonna have to wait, bruh. I don't care. I'm going rounds after rounds. So if an hour happens to go by, I ain't even saying nothing. I'm just being like, all right, yeah, dope.
Round and round it go.
Well, that's just being busy. If you lie about it, then yeah.
Oh no, I mean,
piece of shit.
I don't want somebody to know that the reason why I didn't text them back was because I was playing a video game. Like, I don't know.
I think it's okay to. Actually, I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't. I think it's okay. I was about to say. I don't. I think it's okay for people to not feel like wanting to text someone back like immediately or in a certain time period that they usually do. because people's like moods change. But I don't know. Sometimes I guess sometimes that is kind of dishonest. I don't know. I just think it's a non-issue.
I think we should wrap up this episode. I think it's a little over an hour and a half by now. Is it?
I think it's been 2 hours.
It's been 2 hours. Ooh, okay.
All right. Well,
that's all for the
Headass Tylenol podcast.
The Headass Tylenol cast.
Tylenol, that's what it is now. Headass codeine cast.
Hey, we're not sponsored.
Discord, brother.
We will be sure to beat him with a stick like an American POW in Japan.
Those freaking ball jacuzzis, bro. That's what
Pause. So yeah, that ends it. I was being sarcastic, by the way.
You should just cut it off earlier.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Oh, you're ending it.